Hi everyone. Today we are going to see what are the different roles of a system analyst in an organization or a business for which he or she works. The first role of a system analyst is that of a change agent. The analyst may be viewed as an agent of change. A candidate system is designed to introduce changes. Whenever a new system is being designed, it is obviously going to bring some changes in the organization. The organization will not work the way it was working previously after the introduction of the candidate system. So that means any candidate system is designed to introduce change because the candidate system is built or implemented to improve some areas of the organization, to enhance some aspects of the organization, and to improve or enhance certain areas of an organization. You need to change the way you were working earlier. So that means any candidate system introduces change in an organization. Then it is important that the user accepts change. Okay, fine. Any new candidate system will bring changes in the organization for the reasons I just told you. But then it is also important that the users who will be using the system on a daily basis accept those changes. As humans, we all are resistant to changes. It is difficult for us to accept any changes in our way of working. So it is important that the users who will be using the candidate system on a daily basis, they accept those changes. And for user acceptance, analysts prefer user participations during design and implementation. So the best way to make users accept the candidate system is to involve them from the initial stages of the development and design of the candidate system. So what do the analysts prefer? Analysts prefer that the users participate during the design and implementation phases of the candidate system. The more the users will participate during the design and implementation of a candidate system, the more involved they will feel in the information system, the more they will feel that they are a part of that system, and psychologically they will start accepting that candidate system for that reason. So an easier approach is to start involving or let them participate from the design phase itself and in implementation phase so that they accept it easily. Analyst carefully plans, monitors, and implements change into the user domain because people inherently resist change. As I told you, humans are resistant to any changes. So for that reason, the analyst must carefully plan that these are the changes that will be made. He must monitor those changes, and while implementation also he must be very careful about the fact that these changes are very well accepted by the users who will be using the system on a daily basis. So the first thing, as I told you, is user participation in all the stages from design to implementation of the candidate system. The more they participate, the more involved they feel and the more interest they take, and it is easier for them to accept the system. So user participation is one very important factor, so that the users do not resist the changes after the implementation of a new candidate system. Now, as I said, that the first role of a system analyst is that of a change agent. So in the role of a change agent, system analyst may use different approaches to introduce changes to user organization. So basically, as a change agent, the responsibility of the system analyst is to see that the people accept change in the system, and for that he has to use different approaches in a way that when the changes are introduced in the organization, the users do not feel reluctant about those changes or do not resist those changes and adapt themselves according to those changes. So this is the responsibility of the system analyst as a change agent. Another role of a system analyst is that of an investigator and monitor. So, as an investigator and monitor, a system analyst may investigate the existing system to find the reason for its failure. Whenever a new candidate system is proposed, it is for the very reason that the previous system is not working properly. That is why we came up with the idea of a new system. So that means the first thing that a system analyst does as an investigator and monitor is to investigate the existing system. Before he designs the new candidate system, he investigates the existing system to find out what was the reason for the failure of the system and why is it that this business had to come up with a new with the idea of a new candidate system. So he will find out the reasons for the failure of the existing system. The role of an investigator is to extract problems from existing system. The first role as an investigator is to first of all find out the reasons for the failure. While finding out the reason for the failure, what does the system analyst extract? He extracts the problems from the existing system. That what are the problems that the existing system is facing due to which it failed. And then on the basis of this, the system analyst creates information structures that uncover previously unknown trends that may have a direct impact on organization. So after finding out the possible problems with the existing system, the system analyst will create information structures, and these information structures help to uncover such trends which were previously unknown by the organization, but they may have a direct impact on the success and overall growth of the organization. Then these are the roles. This was as an investigator. As a monitor, the role of a system analyst is to undertake and successfully complete a project. So basically, what are the responsibilities of a monitor? Whenever he is given a task, he has to undertake that task and successfully complete it. So similarly, for a system analyst also, as a monitor during the role of an investigator and monitor, as a monitor, the responsibility of the system analyst is to undertake and successfully complete a project. He should undertake a project and not just undertake it, but complete it successfully. Ensure that it is completed successfully. So in this role of a monitor, the analyst must monitor programs in relation to time, cost, and quality. So while the system analyst has taken up a project and he wants to complete the project successfully, he must monitor the program in terms of or in relation to time. In relation to time means that the project must be completed within the scheduled time and it must not exceed the scheduled time limit. Then the project must be completed within the estimated budget and it should not exceed the estimated budget or cost. And of course, it should meet the quality standards that were intended for it. It must not go below the quality standards. So as a monitor, these are the things that the system analyst must monitor. That is, the project is completed well in time, it is within the estimated budget, and it matches the quality as expected. Then the third role of a system analyst is that of an architect. As an architect, the analyst creates a detailed physical design of the candidate system. As you know that architect designs an information system before it is implemented by the programmers. So when I say that an analyst is similar to an architect, or the analyst has the role of an architect in an organization. By that I mean that the analyst first creates a physical design, a detailed physical design of the candidate system that has to be implemented. A system analyst makes the design of information system architecture on the basis of end user requirements. See, this physical design will vary from business to business, organization to organization. And how will it vary? It will vary as per the requirements of the end users. Every organization, the end users in every organization will have different requirements as per the working conditions, as per the goals. So for that reason, how will the physical design be built? The physical design will be built on the basis of the requirements of the end user. So just like the architect prepares a physical design of your house on the paper based upon the requirements of the house owner. So the same architect will not prepare the same design for all the house owners. The physical design of the house will vary upon the requirements of every different house owner. So that particular physical design works as a blueprint for the contractors who will then finally be constructing the house. Similarly here, the system analyst creates a physical design of the final candidate system as per the user requirements. For different users of different organizations, this physical design will vary, and then this physical design will work as a blueprint for the programmers who will be actually implementing this candidate system. So for that reason, we say that an analyst also plays the role of an architect for any organization. Then, as I said, this physical design created by the system analyst becomes the blueprint for the programmers who will then implement the candidate system as per the design created by the system analyst. The another role, or the fourth role of a system analyst in any organization or business, is that of a psychologist. See, systems are built around people. It is the people who make up the system. It is the people who come up with requirements. It is the people who will be using the candidate system. So systems are definitely built around who? Around the people who will be using them. The analyst plays the role of psychologist in the way he or she reaches people, interprets their thoughts, assesses their behavior, and draws conclusion from these interactions. See, it is not easy to extract requirements from the users. It is a skill. So for that reason, the system analysts are also considered as psychologists, because the way they reach out to people, not everyone is capable enough to extract all the data, facts and requirements from a person. It is a skill. Not everyone is capable of doing it. So how he reaches out the people, how he targets the psychology so that they utter everything they have in their mind regarding their requirements, how he takes out facts, data and requirements from the people, how he interprets their thoughts, then what the people think about the organization. Interpreting those thoughts is also a skill which not everyone is capable of. So interpreting the thoughts of the users and then concluding from the interpretations that okay, these are the requirements, or this is what the end users will be comfortable working with, or this is what the end users want, assessing their behavior, from their behavior finding out what makes them comfortable, what makes them uncomfortable, what are the features that should be added in the design, what are the features that would not work in the design, and then drawing conclusion from all the interactions with the people of the organization, from the users of the organization. This is very much similar to the task of a psychologist. So for that reason, the system analyst also plays the role of a psychologist in an organization. The fifth role is that of a motivator. System acceptance is achieved through user participation in its development, effective user training and proper motivation to use the system. So a system analyst also works as a motivator, because he motivates people to accept the changes and then use the changed candidate system. As I said, any new candidate system will bring changes in the organization. So for the people to accept those changes, the very simple way is that the system analyst involves those people or end users during the development and design phases of the candidate system, during the implementation of the system, and this way the users feel more involved and start taking interest in the candidate system, and then providing them effective user training, because unless they are trained enough to use the candidate system, they will not feel interested. When we are trained to use, or when we have an idea or knowledge of how to use a particular system, we feel more motivated and interested in using it. So training the people effectively so that they can capably use the system, and proper motivation and motivating them to use the system, these are all tasks of the system analyst. For that reason, the system analyst also plays the role of a motivator in a business or organization. During the first few weeks after implementation, when new people are being trained to work with the candidate system, they must be motivated. As I said, human beings are reluctant to changes. So we have to, as a system analyst has to motivate people and make sure they are not reluctant towards using the new system. So especially this reluctance especially comes during the first few weeks of implementation, when they are very new to the system. So it is during this time then when people are being trained to work with the candidate system, the system analyst must motivate the people to use the new candidate system in every possible way. The sixth and the last role of a system analyst in any organization or business is that of an intermediary. The analyst's goal is to have the support of all the users. Unless the analyst has the support of all the users, it will not be able for him to work together as a team with them. He has to motivate them, he has to train them, he has to involve them during the various phases of system design and implementation. He has to gather facts, data and requirements from them. For that reason, he needs continuous interaction with them. And for this very reason, it is very important that the analyst gets full support from all the users. So the first and most important goal of any system analyst is that he has support of all the users of the organization or business for which he is working. The analyst tries to appease or please all parties involved, of course, and to make sure that everyone in the organization supports him. What does he do? He tries to play with the psychology of the people. He tries to please them. Anyone who is involved in the organization, anyone who is involved in the phases of system development life cycle, his goal, he tries to appease and please them. Of course, when you try to please people or play with their psychology, diplomacy is very important. So diplomacy in dealing with people can improve the acceptance of the system, and this is what a system analyst is expected to do, be diplomatic with the people around him so that they support him and they accept the new candidate system.